Hi, and welcome to the Patrick Show. Um, so this last week had the Trump's inauguration, and so it's just literally news has been all consumed with Trump this and Trump that, and people complaining and um, people making fun of the people complaining. And so I just figured I'd talk about a little bit about some stuff that caught my eye walking into the weekend about the new Trump presidency. The biggest thing that I've seen with taking people taking issue uh, with this new presidency is the new whitehouse.gov website and the contents of it. Uh, I was spent a lot of time today just reading article after article about people complaining that things that have been removed from the new whitehouse.gov. And while I do, just as a disclaimer off the front, I do understand Donald Trump, President Obama, different people, and different policies and different opinions on everything. So I don't expect the whitehouse.gov site to just remain the same with a few changes here and there. That being said, there are some valid complaints and some others that are just kind of stretching it a little bit. So uh, let's just get into that. So there's a significant concern about there's a article written by or a report written by the Department of Labor about LGBTQ people in the workplace, and people are concerned because that article is entirely gone. That report is entirely gone. And what's a little more concerning, like okay, fine, that report's gone. Um, but what's more concerning is that there's no reference to anything under the related topic of LGBTQ anything. The one reference you're going to find is if you search for gay on the White House website, and all you're going to get is a page about Grace Coolidge, 30th President Calvin Coolidge's wife, and it's not even using gay the same way. It's the adjective for like happiness and levity. So they've completely removed any talk about gay rights or LGBTQ stuff on the White House website, which is a little concerning since that's a really big part of the political climate as well. And I think that even though Trump just got sworn in, he really should have already had something ready to go for this particular topic. Same with another topic that has been removed entirely from the whitehouse.gov page, climate change. There's jack fucking shit about climate change on the whitehouse.gov page. And I mean, of course, President Obama had a big page. He had a really large page curated and talking about the climate change, the threat of it, and what the government's been doing to fight it and to handle it. And that the page is gone, which is understandable. That was an Obama page. But all references to climate change. If you try to do a search for the climate and climate change, all you're going to get is a reference to repealing some of Obama's climate policies under Trump's energy policies. And that's the only reference you're going to get. And it's literally because climate is in the name of the policy. Otherwise, there'd probably be nothing referencing climate or climate change, which is a little concerning because that's kind of a big deal. But on the other hand, Trump really should have already had something ready to go for addressing climate change or the apparent belief in the lack thereof. He really should have had something addressing that, and so irritation at that is understandable. But and I also think people should look at some other. If you actually read, so if you go to the website, there's a top issues section, and if you read some of that stuff, it's while the LGBTQ articles paper being gone and the climate change page being gone, there's other things that you should be worrying about as well. And instead of exclusively just those, there's other parts of Trump's new policies that you should also be worried about as outlined on the whitehouse.gov page. So if you looked at, first of all, if you looked at the Obama page, at the Obama White House website, for the top issues section, there's a drop down and it had like civil rights and climate change and the economy and education and like 20 some odd items that Obama addressed, had statements about, and had outlined on these pages what he's going to do to try and fix or do something about in some way about these topics. And while again I said I didn't expect Obama and Trump's page to be the same, Trump's page is severely lacking in the issues front. Um, I know, to be fair, Trump didn't really run on a very nuanced platform, but on the same hand, there's only 6 issues listed on the top issues page. There's energy, foreign policy, jobs, military, law enforcement, and trade deals. 6 items. There's nothing really addressing immigration. There's nothing really addressing um, several other parts of his platform that he really made a big deal out of. It's which is really surprising to me. Um, and if you really read into these pages, there's actually some pretty concerning parts that he goes into a little more detail about. Like for example, if you look at the America First energy plan, which is his energy policy, Trump promises to reduce dependency on foreign oil, to reduce restrictions that are driving up resource prices, and help the working American through modifying how we deal with energy in America, which at face value sounds pretty respectable. However, he's going to do that through idiotic means. Um, but there's literally a line in there. Well, first of all, he's not doing this through renewable energy. He's doing it by increasing efficiency of using oil resources, using natural gas resources, which hasn't proven well in the past for either of those items. But then you get to, I got to the line I read down, and I found this line, and it says, and I'm quoting the page: the Trump administration is committed to clean coal technology and to reviving America's coal industry, which has been hurting for too long. What? That just doesn't make sense. That whole line just, what the fuck? There's no such thing as clean coal. It's not a thing. It's, how can you reduce carbon emissions and help the environment and help stop climate change and help with energy in general when, one, there's more efficient resources for energy than coal, but two, how can you fuck with carbon emissions when coal is literally condensed carbon? Like, what does clean coal even mean? And he doesn't address it, and that's just ridiculous. The fact that, well, first of all, there's also a reason that the coal industry's been in the shitter since, oh, who knows when. It's because there's a lot better shit out there. And if you move down again, the America First foreign policy page, you get like just some concerning lines in there. Quoting again, peace through strength will be at the center of that foreign policy. What is this? The Cold War? Peace through strength. So basically, with the Trump presidency, a word to all of you foreigners out there: be careful, or we'll bring democracy to your country. Except this time, we'll win instead of pussyfooting around like we do in Iraq and plenty of other countries. We're going to come in, we're going to kick your ass, and make you a good, strong, healthy democracy through military strength and being fucking America. This is ridiculous. And I understand that, yeah, it is early in Trump's presidency, and he's not going to have fully fleshed out policies and statements on everything because he's relatively new to to being a real politician, instead of just giving money to real politicians. He does have a lot of work to do, fleshing out policies, and making sure, turning his website into a proper resource besides just some bullshit running around. There have been some other complaints running around this weekend about Twitter fucking up. I guess there were some issues migrating followers from the @POTUS Twitter account to @POTUS44, which is the archive for Obama's tweets. I know I saw at least one article that was, oh, shenanigans, all of Obama's tweets are gone off the @POTUS handle. Well, yeah, because they're moved to an archive account, and you don't want to scroll down and get confused with what the @POTUS is tweeting from Obama's tweets overlapping with Trump's tweets, and it makes sense. So please stop going nuts over the deal with the Twitter account. It's just fucking Twitter. No one, it's not really that big. Well, it's gonna be a big deal because that's like the only way that Trump communicates with anybody is releases on Twitter. But in this regard, please stop complaining about it. Secondly, another rather erroneous complaint that I've seen is, and even on the Chicago Tribune article that I cite down in the bottom, that makes a comment and takes issue with an apparent use of Melania Trump's bio page on the White House website, advertising her jewelry line. Now, first of all, I didn't know Melania Trump had a jewelry line. Now I do, because people are bitching about it. And I would never have known that this was the case without people complaining about it. It's literally the people complaining have brought more attention to this issue than anyone else would have on their own. Who reads those bio pages? Mostly nobody. That's who. And the only reason anyone would have noticed is because everyone's taking issue with it. Like, these other people are just taking random issue. Literally all it says is, in 2010, Melania Trump launched her own jewelry collection as a qualification to show that she's a successful entrepreneur. That's so weak. It's not even saying, oh, Melania Trump has a CVC jewelry line that you can check out here. Like, what? No, that's not even a real endorsement, and it's probably the worst one I've ever seen. And I never would have known that there was any kind of that. I would have never looked at the bio page had butthurt people not been complaining about it, about a non-issue. Like, there's so many other things on the White House website that you can complain about, but you choose to take issue with apparent advertisement for Melania Trump's jewelry line. There's so many other places you can be putting your resources. And I would definitely expect that the case for most people would have been they would have never noticed unless several major sources mentioned it. So please stop complaining about that too. Anyway, that's it for me. Again, if you want to read anything further about what I'm talking about in the show today, there'll be descriptions. There'll be links in the description below. If there's anything interesting that crosses your desk that you want me to talk about, feel free to say something in the comments, and I will see you all next week.